After the car crash, he turned into a dope, not even recognizing his own mother, yet he clung to the hem of my jacket and wouldn't let go. Watching the normally ice-cold, ascetic crown prince of Riverford, who never wasted a single glance on me, now blink red-rimmed eyes and call me sis, I felt the devil on my shoulder sprout wings and take flight. Good boy, I'm your girlfriend. We used to kiss, cuddle, and airplane spin every single day. I lied with a straight face, at the same time sneaking a palm over 8 rock-hard abs. He flushed scarlet, burying his bashful face in my chest, mumbling that I had to take responsibility. I was having the time of my life, until one day I accidentally pushed open the study door and heard the man whose IQ was supposedly stuck at 5 lounging with legs crossed, voice icy, "So what if I'm playing possum? If I don't, would she climb into my arms on her own?" The milk tea slipped from my hand and hit the floor with a splat. Somebody save me, can I still run for it? Before we go on, please subscribe and tell us in the comments where you're listening from. Chapter 1. The day Ethan crashed, I was crouched on the curb inhaling a street cart sweet potato. When Sterling's call came, the crispy tip of the sweet potato had just scorched my tongue so badly my eyes rolled. Jordan, Sterling woke up, but he doesn't seem to remember anyone. He keeps calling for you. I tore to Riverdale Hospital in record time. The moment I shoved open the VIP suite door, I froze. There he was, normally suited, every hair aristocratically aloof, now gauze-wrapped, gaze as innocent as a newborn husky, glued to the entrance. When he spotted me, those gorgeous peach blossom eyes lit up and he tried to hop out of bed. Sis, that single syrupy sis nearly sent me face-planting at his bedside. Ethan and I are childhood friends, if you can call it that, ever since I swiped his cherry lollipop back in the day. Grown up, he became Sterling's merciless, women-repelling god of war. When we met, I'd be lucky to earn a flat So what soap opera is this? Dr. Patel pulled me aside, expression grave. Jordan, Sterling suffered a traumatic brain injury. He's experiencing temporary cognitive regression and memory loss. In short, his mental age is around 5 or 6, and he's developed a severe imprinting syndrome. He responds only to you. I stared at the man on the bed grinning and flexing a biceps for my benefit. The little devil inside me started breakdancing. Ethan, karma finally found you. I inhaled, pasted on heartbroken yet adoring look, and approached. I reached out and brazenly pinched the aristocratic cheek no one else dares touch. Smooth as silk, quality goods. Ethan, you really don't remember me? He batted his long lashes, docilely shook his head, then rubbed his face into my palm like a cat. I don't, but I know you matter, my heart's racing. I bit back a laugh and spun my yarn with utter sincerity. Listen up. I'm Serena, your most beloved girlfriend. Our relationship is epic. You hang on my every word. If I say east, west doesn't exist. Ethan blinked, the tips of his ears turned crimson at light speed. He bit his lip, wringing the sheet like a shy bride. Then, did I used to kiss you a lot? My old face heated, I braced myself and nodded. Naturally. You kiss me, you spoon me to sleep every night. If I refuse, you bawl like a baby. His whole head glowed puce, yet an odd thrill flickered in his eyes. He lifted the quilt, patted the empty space, voice sticky sweet. Then sis, will you cuddle me now? My head hurts. Looking at him, helpless lamb delivered to slaughter, I was euphoric. Ethan, you asked for it. Chapter 2. On Ethan's discharge, the entire Sterling clan dropped their jaws. The man who once walked like a hurricane, 3-foot personal bubble intact, now clung to my arm like an oversized koala. Eleanor dabbed her eyes. Serena, dear, Ethan's in your hands now. He won't obey anyone else. I thumped my chest. Don't worry, Auntie. I'll take good care of him. Back at my place, Ethan orbited like a curious toddler. I pointed at the sofa. Sit. Don't move. He perched bolt upright, hands folded on knees. Watching him, an itch crawled under my skin. I strolled over, looking down. Ethan, want your memory back fast? He lifted starry eyes. Yes. I want to remember every detail with sis. I hooked his chin, wicked grin flashing. Fine. We'll start with basic training. What kind? Strip for me. Ethan's face froze, he clutched his collar like a frightened ingenue. Sis, isn't this wrong? It's still daytime. I darkened my expression, faking offense. Explain this, you used to boast your abs were your pride and joy, loved showing them off. Lose your memory and the promise evaporates? His brows knotted in agony. After an eternity, he tremblingly undid the first button. 1, 2. As buttons popped, sculpted pecs and the faint shadow of a V-line met the light. I swallowed. Art museum material, no joke. Keep going, don't stop. Chewing his lip, he peeled the shirt away, revealing symmetrical 8-pack perfection. Shy arousal dusted his skin pink, irresistible under the lamps. I traced a finger along the ridges of muscle. He shuddered, rigid as stone, breath ragged. Sis, don't, it tickles. His voice was husky, cracking with restraint. I leaned in, deliberately blew at his ear. Tickles? You used to beg me to pet them. Ethan's Adam's apple bobbed, his gaze turned deep, unreadable. Suddenly he seized my wrist, grip iron tight. I flinched. Red eyes, teary and aggrieved, locked on mine. Sis, I think I'm sick. I glanced down, my face combusted. His tailored suit pants now tented unmistakably. Seriously? Memory's gone, body remembers everything? Chapter 3. Ethan's sickness scared me clean over to the opposite end of the sofa. He stayed put, head hung like a kid who's broken a vase. Sis, am I broken? It won't listen. He pointed, voice quavering on the edge of tears. My cheek scorched. I snatched a cushion and hurled it. Shut it. That's a normal physiological reaction, it means you're healthy. He hugged the pillow, hiding the offending swell. He looked at me timidly. So, big sis, how did you used to help me before, at times like this? I almost choked on my own spit. What was I supposed to say? We'd barely met in the past, how on earth would I know? But I couldn't back down. I forced a calm front and snorted. Back then you'd march into the bathroom, take an ice-cold shower, and shout, Serena, I love you, for a full 30 minutes. Problem solved. Ethan wore the expression of a man who'd just received sacred knowledge. So that's the trick. I'll go do it right now. Watching him scamper off, bare-chested, hugging a throw pillow, skinny hips disappearing around the corner, I collapsed on the sofa, laughing so hard I nearly stopped breathing. Ethan, oh Ethan, when your memory finally reboots and you recall this episode, you'll want to die of shame. Moments later the bathroom filled with the thunder of running water. Faintly, through the door, came a muffled chant. Serena, I love you. Serena, I love you. I rolled on the couch, tears streaming. Having Riverdale's untouchable titan by the tail felt insanely good. Early next morning, Ethan's executive assistant Liam showed up. The moment Liam saw Ethan in the Pikachu pajamas I'd forced on him last night, clutching a baby bottle of milk, the man turned to stone. Sterling? Ethan flicked him a cool glare, pure Wall Street predator. Liam actually stepped backward. Then Ethan pivoted toward me, voice syrupy enough to drip. Sis, who is this weird uncle? He scares me. Liam's folder smacked the floor, his eyeballs practically popped. I swallowed a laugh. That's your assistant, Taylor. He needs you at Sterling to sign some things. Ethan wrinkled his nose. Not going. I'm staying home with sis. Liam shot me a silent SOS. Jordan, the place is chaos. $500 million projects are waiting for his signature. Could you? A wicked idea bloomed. Ethan, be good, zip over, sign, then hurry back for a reward. His eyes lit up. Kisses? Liam inhaled so sharply I thought he'd implode. I felt my cheeks flush, but I nodded. 1 kiss per autograph. Ethan sprang to his feet, shoved the baby bottle into my hands. Taylor, let's roll. I'm signing 100. Chapter 4. With Ethan gone, I basked alone on the sun-drenched balcony. My phone buzzed, best friend Jade. Serena. Rumor mill says the psycho tycoon's turned into a giant toddler. Office gossip claims he brought a Pikachu plush to the boardroom, true? I grinned. That's just the appetizer. Right now he's my obedient puppy. She shrieked, girl, are you nuts? When he snaps out of it he'll skin you alive. I inspected my manicure. Dr. Patel says the amnesia could last forever, or end tomorrow. Carpe diem, watch your back. That man files grudges in titanium. After we hung up, a sliver of doubt pricked me. Ethan's revenge IQ is terrifying. Still, innocent Ethan is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Not bullying him would be a crime. Afternoon. The penthouse door slammed. Ethan hurled his jacket aside and pounced, burrowing his damp head into my neck like an oversized Labrador. Sis, 50 signatures, pay up. Eyes shut, lashes trembling, he lifted his face for collection. My heart lurched, even dumbed down, the man was lethal. I flicked his forehead. Shower first, you smell like the trading floor, he pouted. Not stinky, I wore your favorite cologne. Buttons flew as he yanked his shirt open. Look, abs still enlisted for duty. I ordered my gaze to stay north. Bathroom. Now. Rinse, repeat, then report back. While the water ran, I dug out my latest mischief purchase, 2 fluffy white cat ear headbands. Go big or go home. He reappeared in nothing but a towel, hair dripping. I handed over the ears. Put these on. What are they? Our old couple thing, you loved wearing them while dancing for me. Total lie. Crimson swept his cheeks. I used to dance? Like a pro. Hip swivels plus meow, 12 out of 10. He studied the pastel ears, doubt wrestling with trust, then eased them onto his head. The great Ethan, 6'3" of cut muscle, now sported twitching kitty ears. I snapped photos until my camera roll begged for mercy. Keep going, wiggle and meow. He wanted the floor to swallow him, but he obeyed. Mid-gyration his movements stilled, eyes locked on me, he advanced. You laughed, so dat time. 50 autographs, 50 kisses. He trapped me on the couch, ears wobbling with each breath. Where would you like to start, sis? Chapter 5. My brain blue-screened. Those ridiculous ears bobbed overhead, yet paired with his whirlpool eyes the effect was indecently hot. Let's negotiate, just stand up first. My palms landed on burning granite, his chest, and his heartbeat hammered against them. No. His voice dropped. You promised. You lied. A flash of abandoned puppy hurt cracked through. I caved. Fine, 1 peck, coming up. I braced, brushed his lips, and bolted back. Next, he frowned. Too fast. I didn't taste it. Before I could protest, he cupped my head and took over, deep, claiming, unmistakably adult. This was no 5-year-old's kiss, it was a seasoned man stealing breath and sense. My head buzzed like a broken amplifier, my whole body went numb. Ethan's restless fingers traced my waist, sparking static up my spine. Just when I thought I'd suffocate, he finally let me go. He licked his lower lip, eyes dazed, the fluffy white cat ear headband cocked to one side. Sis tastes so sweet. His voice was husky, thick with unmistakable lust. I gulped air, heart hammering with suspicion. Had the amnesia story short-circuited? That kiss was pure muscle memory. Ethan, be honest, are flashes coming back? I probed. He tilted his head, gaze reverting to innocent marshmallow fluff. Remember what? I only know you smell amazing, and I want to keep kissing you. He leaned in again, I shoved his chest. Pause. The other 49 are IOUs. I'm starving, go cook. He hopped up, adjusted the towel around his hips, and trotted to the kitchen. Okie dokie, heart-shaped dinner for sis. Watching him chop potatoes in a pink apron, I touched my swollen lip, thoughts tangled like yarn. Then his phone chimed on the coffee table. I glanced instinctively, an unknown number. Sterling, Jordan's taken the bait. Proceed per plan? My stomach iced over. Bait? What plan? I snatched the phone with trembling fingers, it demanded a passcode. I typed my own birthday on autopilot. Click, home screen. My heart sank to the basement. His passcode was my birthday, and that text screamed setup. He turned from the counter, knife clumsy in his fist, humming off-key. Ethan, what game are you running? Chapter 6. I clutched the phone, palm slick. The old Ethan laid traps for breakfast, the current version. I exhaled, set the phone down, feigned ignorance. At dinner I stared holes through him. He noticed, grinned, and slid a rib onto my plate. Eat, sis. You're all sharp edges, cuddling you hurts. I almost fired rice across the table. When did you ever hold me? He motioned toward the bathroom in my dream last night. You were on fire, begging harder, Ethan. My face combusted, I wrapped his skull with chopsticks. Shut it and chew, whimpering, he muttered, wasn't a lie. The next days I studied him like a hostile witness. He acted 5 on social skills, yet filed mountains of sterling documents at light speed. Liam delivered folders, Ethan flicked his pen to the signature line without pausing. That IQ looked like 5? I baited the trap, dropping a dense finance magazine on the couch. He leafed through, snorted, garbage analysis, Swiss cheese logic. I sprang up. Ethan, what did you say? He startled, pointed at a headshot. That grandpa looks like Mrs. Brown's poodle. The portrait was a Nobel-winning economist. My temple throbbed. The guy was faking, 100%. That night I dressed to kill, doused in perfume. Going out with friends, be good. He knelt over the jigsaw, gaze wounded. Which friends? Guys or girls? Guys, my old senior, total hottie, I baited. The puzzle piece crumbled between his fingers. He rose, towering, a flash of familiar predator in his eyes before tears fogged them. You don't love me? Dumping me for another man? He clutched my sleeve, trembling. I nearly folded. Instead I pushed him off. Chill, it's drinks, not elopement. I click-clacked out, but ducked behind the hedges downstairs. 5 minutes later Ethan emerged in black hoodie, movements lethal, zero trace of the village idiot. He barked into his phone, tail her. If that bastard touches her, break his hand. I shook behind the trunk, fury blazing. Oscar-worthy performance, Sterling, game on. Chapter 7. Watching him vanish into the night, I gnashed my teeth. Feigning dementia? Playing me? Let's see who checkmates whom. I shadowed him through the streets to the private club Onyx. He breezed into a booth. I bribed a busboy and crouched in the adjacent stockroom, ear to the vent. Laughter spilled through. Sterling, that retreat to advance stunt is genius. Is little Serena dizzy yet? Derek, his best friend. Ethan's familiar baritone returned, cold and razor-sharp. Dizzy enough. Then she tells me she's meeting some senior, dressed like sin. Derek held. She's hot, what do you expect? How long will you stay in character? When she finds out, she'll skin you. A pause, then Ethan's low reply, if it keeps her beside me, I'll fake it for life. You haven't seen her bathing me, those hands sliding everywhere. Voice roughening, he finished. I almost blew my cover. My ear scorched. Inside I cursed his lineage back 10 generations. Con artist, pervert. And I'd worried his car crash had lobotomized him. I nearly burst in, until he added, Derek, dig up everything on that senior. Anyone coveting my woman signs his own death warrant. Derek teased, you're drowning in jealousy and she hasn't even met him. By the time she does, the guy will be extinct, Ethan sneered. I smiled thinly in the dark corridor. Cut her off? I'd like to see you try. I slipped away, went home, scrubbed off my makeup, changed into my pajamas, and pretended to be asleep on the couch. About an hour later the lock turned. Ethan stepped in on tiptoe. He came to the side of the couch and stared at me for the longest time. I could feel his gaze roaming my face like a starving man, then he slowly bent down. He pressed a feather-light kiss to my forehead, his voice softer than I'd ever heard it. Little liar, you never went to see Senior, did you? My heart gave a jolt. How did he know? But what he did next was even bolder. His long fingers slid along my cheek to my throat, then brushed the sensitive skin there in slow circles. I really want to lock you away where only I can look at you. He whispered it, his breath ragged. I felt his hand start to slip under my pajama top. My eyes snapped open and I grabbed his wrist. Ethan, are you having fun? Chapter 8. The air froze. Ethan went rigid, that wandering hand still caught at the edge of my pajamas. The darkness and hunger in his eyes hadn't had time to recede before they slammed straight into mine. I sat up with a cold laugh and flung his hand away. Sterling, enjoying your 5-year-old IQ act? Ethan pressed his lips together and said nothing. The fluffy white cat ear headband was still perched on his head. I'd made him wear it all day, and against his current gloomy, frigid expression it looked both ridiculous and eerie. Cat got your tongue? I rose and stalked closer. You were plenty talkative at Onyx. Didn't you say you'd cripple Senior's hand? A flicker crossed his eyes, then he curled his lips in self-mockery. He straightened, and every trace of cute stupidity evaporated, replaced by the sort of cold arrogance that makes people's blood run cold. You tailed me? His voice was like splinters of ice. If I hadn't, how would I learn that my sweet harmless boyfriend is actually a belly full of schemes fox? I was so angry I laughed. I pointed at the door. Out, march straight back to your precious Sterling mansion, right now. He didn't budge. He stared at me, eyes slowly rimming red. Serena, you've got no heart. The words came hoarse, a hopeless accusation. I laughed in sheer fury. I've waited on you hand and foot for days, and you played me for a fool, yet I'm the heartless one? Suddenly he stepped forward, pinning me against the wall. Both arms bracketed my face like a cage. If I hadn't tricked you, would you ever have looked at me? he roared, control finally snapping. Serena, we've known each other 20 plus years. How many hints have I dropped? And you, what did you take me for? The idiot kid who fought you for cherry lollipops? The car crash was real, the amnesia wasn't. But when I woke up and saw you so worried, even willing to be my girlfriend, only an idiot would choose to get better. He lowered his head until our foreheads touched, panting. I admit it, I was despicable, I schemed. But left to you, you'd be having coffee with whatever senior right about now, wouldn't you? I froze. I had, in fact, scheduled a blind date for next week, but I'd told no one. How did you know I was going to meet anyone? He gave a cold snort, eyes vicious. Your mother sent Margaret's candidate list to my mom for opinions ages ago. You think I'd let that happen? I shook with rage. Ethan, that's sick, that's illegal surveillance, call it whatever you want. He suddenly bent and bit my lip, hard. I've already stamped my seal. In this life you're mine, only mine. The kiss was brutish, all the fury and possessiveness he'd stored up for years poured out. I fought furiously, but he trapped both my wrists in one hand and pinned them above my head. His other hand slipped inside my pajamas and closed with pinpoint accuracy over my breast. Ethan, you bastard! I screamed, tears bursting free. His whole body stiffened, the movement stopped. Seeing the tears, panic flared in his eyes. Serena, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to hurt you. He released me and fumbled to wipe my cheeks. I slapped him with everything I had. Crack! The sound rang through the silent living room. His head snapped sideways, 5 scarlet fingerprints blooming on his cheek. He didn't snarl, just stood there like a porcelain doll someone had shattered. Out. I pointed at the door, voice trembling. I never want to see you again. For a long moment he said nothing, then answered in a low murmur. All right. At the doorway he paused, back to me. If you really hate me that much, I'll give you your wish, but you'd better not see Senior, because I will lose my mind. The door slammed. I collapsed on the carpet, staring at the empty room. I didn't feel the satisfaction I'd expected, only a ragged hole that hurt to breathe around. Chapter 9. Ethan vanished, utterly erased from my life. Word from Sterling said the young master had miraculously recovered his memory and turned colder and crueler than ever, expanding ruthlessly in the market. His methods shocked even veteran sharks. Jade rushed over, worried sick. Serena, what happened between you and Ethan? I heard he just snatched the North project your family had marked. He's clearly aiming at the Vances. I stirred my coffee, irritable. Let him do whatever, we're strangers now. Strangers? She sighed at my face. Your eye bags are down to your chin. Sure, Ethan's calculating, but you can't deny how he feels about you. When you fell through the ice as kids, he dove in without a thought. Don't tell me you forgot. My spoon stilled. I hadn't forgotten, but I couldn't live with his lies and that twisted possessiveness. Just then my mother rang. Serena. Get to Sterling, Ethan's in trouble. My heart lurched. Trouble? A scourge like him lives forever. He's had a stomach bleed. Liam says he's been working nonstop and drinking like a fish. Eleanor begged me to send you. He won't listen to anyone, just sits there clutching that stupid fluffy white cat ear headband you gave him. A needle seemed to pierce my chest. He still had those ears? When I reached the hospital, people crowded outside the VIP suite. Eleanor spotted me like a drowning woman seeing land. Thank God, go in. He just woke up and he's demanding to be discharged. I pushed the door open. Disinfectant hung thick in the air. Ethan leaned against the headboard, pale as paper, stubble shadowing his jaw, looking wrecked. Sure enough, the pink cat-eared band was clenched in his hand. His eyes flickered when he saw me, then iced over. What are you here for? To check whether I'm dead? His voice sounded like gravel scraped over concrete. I didn't say anything. I just walked over and snatched the fluffy white cat ear headband out of his hand. Ethan, how old are you? Still pulling stunts like this? Ethan gave a self-mocking laugh, tilted his head back, and shut his eyes. Yeah, how old am I, getting fooled by a heartless woman like you? Serena, go. Go meet your little dates, go live the life you want. From now on, I won't bother you ever again. His tone was so calm it scared me, like dead still water. Looking at him like that, my anger flared straight up. Okay, Ethan, you've learned how to retreat to advance, huh? I stepped straight onto the bed, straddling his lap. Ethan's eyes snapped open, completely stunned. What are you doing? I grabbed the collar of his hospital gown and glared at him. Ethan, listen up. The debt you owe me for lying isn't settled. Think you can just end it like that? Not a chance. I lowered my head and kissed his lips hard. Ethan froze. But in a second he was like a man dying of thirst who'd found the last drop, kissing me back like crazy. He flipped me underneath him, big palm locking the back of my head, kissing me until the world spun. Serena, you started this, he murmured, voice on the verge of cracking. If you dare run again, I swear I'll break your legs and chain you to this bed. I wrapped my arms around his neck and bit his shoulder viciously. Try it. Chapter 10. After Ethan was discharged, he became even clingier than before. He wasn't pretending to be amnesiac anymore, but that giant wolf dog vibe hadn't faded one bit. I went to Sterling to work, he waited downstairs. I met my girlfriends for drinks, he waited at the door. He even asked outside the restroom, Serena, you done yet? I'd had it. I chucked a sofa cushion at him. Ethan, can you give me some personal space? He caught the pillow coolly, walked over, and knelt beside my legs. I'm afraid you'll go see that senior again. I rolled my eyes. That senior emigrated ages ago. Drop it, will you? Ethan pursed his lips, then suddenly reached out and patted my belly. Serena, let's get married. I blinked. That's your idea of a proposal? His gaze went dark. He pulled a gigantic 5-carat from his pocket, the glare hurt my eyes. Not sloppy. I prepared for 10 years. He dropped to one knee, eyes worshipful, like he was facing a shrine. The day you shoved a cherry lollipop into my mouth when we were 10, I wanted to carry you home. Every step I've taken these 10 years was to become worthy of you, to lock you beside me. Serena, marry me, okay? Staring into those eyes full of love and borderline madness, something soft inside me collapsed. Then, will you ever lie to me again? Ethan lifted his hand in an oath. If I lie again, I'll take an ice-cold shower every day for life, shouting, Serena, I was wrong the whole time. Imagining that scene, I burst out laughing. Fine. For the size of this rock, accepted. I stretched out my hand and let him slide the ring onto my finger. Overjoyed, Ethan hoisted me up and spun me around the living room. Woohoo! Serena's my wife. That goofy look was an exact copy of his amnesia days. The wedding ceremony was set for 3 months later. On the eve of the wedding I stumbled across Ethan's leather-bound journal. Page 1 said, "Today Serena snatched my candy and kissed me. She said I'm hers." Yup, I'm hers, forever. Every single page after recorded my life in microscopic detail. What colored dress I wore, the day I cried over a bad grade, the afternoon I chatted 2 extra sentences with some boy. Between the lines sprawled love thick as ink and a possessive streak that sometimes turned scary. On the last page, written the night before his car crash, if one day I forget the whole world, please make me remember Serena. Without her, my universe is nothing but wasteland. My eyes blurred. So all along, in this man's world, I had been the one and only son. Chapter 11, Wedding Night. Ethan had drunk plenty, his gaze was hazy, cheeks unnaturally red. He pinned me to the sterling bed, warm breath laced with mellow bourbon. Wife. His voice was hoarse as he deftly tugged the zipper of my lace mermaid wedding gown. A little nervous, I pressed my palm to his chest. Ethan, you're drunk. He chuckled softly, trapping my hand and nibbling my fingertips. Drunk is perfect. Drunk, I can do things I'd never dare sober. With one sharp tug the gown slid off like a cicada's shell. Under the lights his eyes turned predatory. He leaned to my ear and whispered, Serena, do you know I've waited for this till I almost lost my mind? He started setting fires on my skin, neck, collarbones, the curve of my breasts. I felt like a lonely boat tossed on a sea of desire. His moves were gentle yet carried absolute command. When he finally claimed me, the pain made me cry out. Ethan stilled, kissing away the tears at the corners of my eyes. Good girl, no more pain, it'll pass in a minute. His voice could drip honey, while his rhythm turned wilder. That night I learned what people meant by Riverdale madman. Again and again he took me, forcing me to say his name, forcing me to say I love him. Only at dawn did he cradle me, satisfied, and fall asleep. When I woke the next day I felt like every bone had melted. Ethan was already awake, propped on an elbow, gazing at me with doting eyes. Morning? He brushed a kiss on my forehead. I shoved him weakly. Ethan, are you part dog? Look at my neck, how am I supposed to be seen? He grinned shamelessly and burrowed into my arms. So what? You're mine, anyone who sees will only envy me. His big hands began to wander again. Ethan. Enough, not enough, never enough for a lifetime. He rolled on top of me, eyes blazing with absolute certainty. Wife, time to work on making babies. The Sterling family is breathing down my neck. My face flamed. Who says I'm making babies with you? Not with me, then with who? He sealed my lips, turning all my protests into broken moans. Outside the window the sun was gorgeous. I knew our sweetest life had only just begun. And, thanks for listening to today's story. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up and share it with friends. We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more amazing stories. See you next time.